What's up guys, this is Adam the Bee's Knees, and today we are going to be going over the MPL Season 3 draft. This is the National Pokemon League run by ShareForce. Speaking of that, I am in two other leagues, well, one other league and then another thing. The other league is UBC Season 4, and we're still drafting at the moment. We are. This draft actually started later and we finished earlier, so there's that. And then there's the other MPL, which is a tournament to go to the minors. And then from the minors, you can go into the real thing if you're like the top 2 or 3. So it's a long step for that one. But here we are for the MPL with ShareForce. Someone's got to change their name. But anyway, this draft was probably the most fierce out of any draft I've seen. Gone left and right, where every good Mon, Tapu Lele, Megalopunny, top 3 drafted Mons were gone. Then people started wanted to get the really lower value good stuff like Tangrowth. That was gone. A lot of things were gone. All the Tapus were gone. Kyurem Black was in round 1. Clefable actually lasted to round 2. Manaphy was pretty early. Victini was pretty early, so on. But when it came to me, I wanted to get... I didn't know what I wanted to get. I wanted to get Mew. And when it came to me, I didn't know, but the rule for the MPL is that one Pokemon can have a Z Crystal. And Jirachi happens to get Happy Hour. And if you put the normal Z Crystal on, Happy Hour raises all of your stats by 1, which is incredible. So I don't know why that's 0, but plus attack, defense, special attack, def, and speed, all by 1 stage. And Jirachi, of course, if you're in a tight spot, you can Choice Scarf it and click Iron Heads and Headbutt, Heart Stamp, some flinching move. It's a great pivot mon. As well, there's that. Jirachi is also a good Stealth Rock setter. Gets T-Wave, which is a little bit nerfed this year, but it's not that bad. It's Wish support. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it. The only thing it can't really do is Baton Pass, but I actually have quite a lot of Baton Passers, and Baton Pass clause is there's none, so you could theoretically Baton Pass any stat. Jirachi gets Healing Wish and some other stuff too. So Jirachi is a great mon. It's a good steel type, and I wanted to get a fairy type that would go with Jirachi. Originally, I think I was gonna go for maybe Hydreigon, but I decided that this thing was too, or Kyurem Black. But Kyurem Black was taken short after me. I didn't really want to draft it too much. But afterwards, I did get Togekiss here. Now, what's so great about Togekiss is it is part of the hat score with that Air Slash. Very good there. It gets Baton Pass, which is also something Jirachi did not get. It's a Defogger as well. And it gets Wish, so that's 2 Wish Passers that I can have. It's also a T-Wave user. It has Roost, which is very nice, always good on a flying type, but it can pass Nasty Plots very nicely. So there is that. I can run it very bulky. I can run it Choice Scarfed or Specs. Togekiss also serves as a Cleric. I don't actually know. Yeah, so Togekiss only serves as the Cleric so far. It is a great Heal Beller. Fantastic typing. It dodges the earthquakes that Jirachi is so immune to. However, with my first several picks, I'm a little weak to Excadrill, and I do face an Excadrill twice, so I do patch that up. But very good Pokemon, very good stats here. Decent speed for a bulkier mon, a very good Spadef and special attack. And then finally, we have Xurkitree here. Like, I don't know, I wanted to get a new mon. And Xurkitree was just sitting there. I was like, I could get Raikou. Raikou's faster, right? But Xurkitree is just so cool. With Beast Boost, usually probably going to run it Choice in some way. And then I can just activate that Beast Boost get a bunch of special attacks, and win if they don't have a ground type. So what Xurkitree is pretty good at is it does have grass coverage. It doesn't have ice coverage, so you're going to have to stick with HP Ice. But it does get a couple more moves like D-Gleam that other things don't get. And it also, hold on, sorry about that. It also gets Tail Glow, which is incredibly good. Sub Tail Glow, I mean Hypnosis, right? True. So Xurkitree is just a cool Pokemon that I really wanted to get. And so, what Xurkitree serves as a very, very offensive Volt Turn Mon. It's actually kind of slow, which is not the worst thing for a core, especially with my next pick, which is a U-Turn Pokemon, and it's very fast. And I've never used this thing before, but I've always wanted to, and it's Mega Beedrill, the mascot, which is very nice. Finally allowed to use the bee's knees on a team. Of course, adaptability. Just look at those stats. 150 and 145, easily fantastic coverage. 145 is about the fastest you can get, besides Mega Aerodactyl, you know, like Alakazam. But all I need this thing to do is click U-turn and Poison Jab over and over again. So there is that. And what makes Beedrill so good too in this generation is it doesn't have to run Protect to get the speed. So if there is a Steel type and there is something that is weak to Knockoff, I can run both Knockoff and Drill Run. It's also a Toxic Spike user and a Defog and Tailwind user as well. There is one neat little thing on here too. There is Fail Stinger, which raises the attack by 3 if it knocks out an opponent. It's pretty broken. I can't deny that, especially with the Pokemon that outspeeds several Choice Scarfed users. So watch out. I think this is one of the greatest Volt Turn cores in the game, as terms of maybe not the most bulky and reliable to switch into things, but just to hit hard. So round 5 comes up. I'm on the lower half of the draft, by the way. I think there's 5 people after me. But anyway, I got that core down pretty good, and I was like, I want a Fire type, and I want some priority. Now there's Arcanine. I've used Arcanine a lot, and spoiler, I have it on the UBC, and I didn't want anything that crossed over. But originally in the UBC, I was going for Entei, and Entei was still here. So, Entei really worked some wonders in the last season of the UBC. It's just a great Pokemon. Of course, it gets Flare Blitz, it gets Sacred Fire, it gets Extreme Speed, and it gets Stone Edge or Bulldoze. Now, Sacred Fire is a little bit less broken because the burn does only 6%, but it's always still nice. And you just run Choice Band. I could run Assault Vest like I do sometimes. Very cool mod. Excelente is here to stay. And then next up we have a Dragon type. So speaking of Kyurem, we have regular Kyurem here. A very fun mon to use. Kyurem's typing is very interesting because offensively it's a good type, but defensively it can wall quite the amount of things, and which makes it very cool. So that being said, it can wall grass types, it can wall certain fire types, so it can definitely shut down any bulky water type that's not really Keldeo. So that is straight up just great. And I'll be right back. Discord's alright. So anyway, so Kyurem's a very good bulky mon as well with Sub Roost, and offensively it's pretty phenomenal. It gets all the same moves regular Kyurem does except for the fusion moves. So Earth Power, Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse, Iron Head, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, a bunch of cool moves. And both of its attack stats are good. So there's that, which is very nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon are weak to rocks. I know I have a Defogger, or technically 2 Defoggers, but I wanted some stuff that could be bulky and could spin away my rocks. So I had Mega Blastoise last season, but this season I decided to get regular Blastoise because it's a good water type and it gets Rapid Spin. Those are the big reasons why I wanted Blastoise here. The only downside of Blastoise is, well, actually, it doesn't have recovery, but Blastoise was tier 4 in this league, so it's a very valued in my opinion. So, speaking of Excadrill, Blastoise can maybe deal with it on a good day, but I needed something that can absolutely check Excadrill. It can switch in, get it out of there, kill it, do whatever, and heal up all of the Excadrill damage, and that is Gligar here. Now, Gligar is also a defogger, so that's another hazard removal, so I have 4 technically. But what Gligar functions as is a Excadrill counter. It has Earthquake, which definitely 2-hit KOs it, does like 80%. It's also a knockoff user. So it's my second knockoff user. I believe I'm about to get the third one. But Roost and Stealth Rock, so it's another Stealth Rock setter, and it gets U-turn. So a lot of my team has momentum. I have quite a few Stealth Rockers. Well, actually not really quite a few. I have 2 good ones. But Gligar can Baton Pass Swords Dance. It can Tailwind. Do a lot of nice things. So there we go. Shout out to the Mortal Kombat names. And alright, so I wanted some new Pokemon too, because I know Xerxes Tree is pretty cool, but I have a bunch of funny old regular mons, so I wanted something fancy. I wanted Aristocat here. Alolan Persian, the Lord. So you look at these stats and you think, those are ass. So fur coat helps it a little bit. It gets Technician, which is cool. It's a good fake out mod. But what makes Persian very nice, in my opinion, is it gets the move. I don't see it. It gets Parting Shot, which is very, very nice for my team. It's another momentum mod. It does have U-turn as well. Persian actually has more special attack in this game. Interesting enough. As well as it gets Nasty Plot. I mean, Persians are pretty cool. Fur Coat is also a very nice ability. Its bulk ain't that hot, but it can still take a physical hit as long as it's not like a close combat or U-turn. So there's that. And speaking of close combat, I really want a Mienshao at this point, but it was taken 1 pick before me. So I decided to get with my boy Schnitzel here, the Beware. Ability Fluffy, very nice, has physical moves. I think that's the same as Fur Coat. Well, kind of the same as Fur Coat. But this is very nice. It is weak to fire, but I have Blastoise to switch into fire, and Entei and Cura, so I'm not that worried. But Beware is very bulky in terms of defense because of the HP plus the defense, and also can hit very hard with its dual stab of close combat and return. And it gets Ice Punch, which is does it get close combat? I didn't see it. It gets Superpower, but Ice Punch, Thunder Punch are the moves every fighting type and every physical attacker wish they had. Ask Cura. Finally, I really wanted a good grass type like Shaman or Tangrowth or Amoonguss. They all went way too fast. So I was like, alright, I don't need that. I could go Gourgeist again, but trust me, I'm going to have Gourgeist a lot. So we have Lilligant. And what's nice about Lilligant is it's an offensive grass type, and it gets 2 moves that are really cool. It gets Sleep Powder, and it gets Quiver Dance. Both of those moves are fantastic. It has... I mean, these moves are kind of bad, but it gets Chlorophyll, which is always cool. I can set up the Sunny Day, but I mean, it's fast enough. You can run Choice Specs, you can run Life Orb. Another reason why I wanted this thing is it is a Cleric, and it does have the Healing Wish ability too, so it's all around a pretty good mon to have. So that's my team. Very nice team. So Jirachi is the only Pokemon that can use Z moves, and it can use any Z move, the Happy Hour one included. So Jirachi and Togekiss, very nice Hax core if you want to call it, but they do complement each other very nicely. I think a very great Volt Turn core with these guys. Entei is going to be my nuke. Kyurem fills out that Dragon Fairy Steel Core, and Kyurem itself is a very cool mon. Blastoise to get off hazards number 1, and a Bulky Water. Gliscor to get off hazards number 2. And this are my knockoff users. Plus, I think Persian gets it, right? It doesn't. Oh well. I just need 2. And as for priority, Persian wraps up at second priority unless you count E-Speed. I have a good fighting type that can bust through the fat normal types, and I have Sleep on my team. Plus several Baton Pass users, several setup mons. So that is my draft for the season. I think it's very solid. It's very fun. It's not something that I normally draft a little bit more bulkier, but this team could work wonders. I think it's quite the step because I know in my UBC draft, I think my UBC draft is technically going to be better, but it's not as fun. UBC draft is going to be all All-Stars, pretty much all Pokemon that I've used and know how to use because I want to win that one league. I still want to win this league, but I want to have fun with these new things. And I also want to win the other MPL things. So, but I have fun mons in that too. But anyway, this is Adam DeViesnees signing off with the draft recap of the NPL Season 3. So, National Pokemon League.